Hello, guys. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day from wherever you are in the world listening to the sound of my voice today. You're welcome once again to Pleasant Creeks. Um, Today we'll be talking about Nigeria again, just like we spoke about some issues last week. Today we'll be talking about Nigeria, especially because it's coming close to a new or another electioneering year. Before we go or dive into what we have for today, let me just say a few things. This week, we heard about the mishap or the misfortune that befell fellow Nigerians in Kaduna State, the attack by terrorists on the Nigerian Railway Service from servicing the people of Abuja and Kaduna. Actually, this train was heading from Abuja to Kaduna, and the terrorists actually placed or detonated bombs, and which actually, in some reports, we hear as much as between 500 to 900 and something, almost 1,000 people affected. Some were killed instantly by the blast, some were shot because after the train grind to a halt, the terrorists actually came in with guns blazing and began, shooting sporadically, shot directly at some of the passengers, and people died, and some were abducted and taken away. High profile people, inclusive, and every common Nigerians who actually were heading home because Abuja is relatively close to Kaduna State.
This is what's left in one of the coaches after the attack. Hundreds of passengers on board. Many are still unaccounted for. Witnesses say the attackers opened fire after an explosion derailed the train.
When they entered coach SP17, they opened fire and forced out the passengers. One other passenger and I were found hidden under a seat when they emptied our coach. They shot the other man, who died instantly. I stood up and begged for my life. We were herded into the bush, but I managed to slip away in the dark.
There was blood everywhere. It looked like a slaughterhouse. Many people were shot.
The train was only a few kilometers from its destination. The wounded are being treated in hospitals, including this military hospital. It's the second attack on trains in 6 months on the same route.
2 days before Monday night's attack, armed men referred to here as bandits invaded the Kaduna airport and prevented an aircraft from taking off until they were pushed back by security. That airport has been shut, and train services have now been suspended. The Abuja-Kaduna highway isn't safe either. In the past 3 years, attackers have kidnapped hundreds of people on the highway. Many of them have never been heard from again.
The Nigerian president has ordered the military to rescue the kidnapped passengers and repair the damaged track for resumption of services.
I'd like to assure you that those behind it will not go unpunished. Currently, the men are on their chairs.
Now, we saw tweets, especially of one lady, may her soul rest in peace, Dr. Chinelo, who was in that train, and I'll put up her, details or a few stuff where people actually, rather than being empathic or at the very least be quiet until you get a full grasp of what the situation is, she tweeted and about her situation, how she was shot, and asking for people, Nigerians, to pray for her to survive and so on. And people went ahead mocking her, and eventually she died. And we heard that this Friday she was due to leave the country for greener pastures abroad because she had already resigned her position as a doctor where she worked before. She's just one of many people who the system, the Nigerian state generally, or specifically speaking, has failed. So it continues. And the worst thing is that the government, the presidency, has not reacted to the point that people were satisfied or should be satisfied. When tragedy occurs anywhere in the world, the government comes out, especially when it's a terrorist activity, the government comes out to assure the country, the citizens, that these people would not win, because that's the aim of terrorists, to ensure that people are terrified, to terrorize the citizenry. But it's the job of the government to reassure the citizens that, no, don't be afraid, we're on top of our game, we're doing this, assure the people, give them hope to believe that, these things will not happen. But again, time and time again, these things just keep happening. If it's not on the highway, it's in the city, if it's not bombs being detonated, it's gunshots, people being, it's just crazy. Especially in the northern part of Nigeria, where we have Islamic fundamentalists, they only know what they want. You have the bandits, you have the headsman crisis, and then you come to the south, there's militancy sometimes, kidnapping, armed robbery of the highest order, marauding criminals everywhere. And the government doesn't seem to have a grasp of the security situation. The president, rather than addressing the nation, will call on the security chiefs. They will come talk the same thing over and over and again, and nothing seems to change. The more you look, the less you see. The more things keep happening. And it begs the question, when will these stop? For the sake of God, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of the next generation, for the sake of the generation now, for the sake of elders, for the sake of everybody, for the sake of the growth of and the sustenance of the country. You don't just kill people, there's no value for human life. These are not criminals. These are normal, everyday people, it can buy every day. It's hard. Some of the videos are very heart-wrenching, and my heart goes out to all of them, the families of those who lost loved ones, and may their gentle soul rest in peace. The injured, we hope that you guys would get a speedy recovery. And at the weekend we heard about headsmen. I saw a video, headsmen, or whatever you want to call them, terrorists, basically criminals, excuse me, on bikes, riding on the tarmac of the international airport, still in Kaduna State. Kaduna has the Nigerian Defense Academy, so I think also the second, is it the infantry battalion or what? I can't remember exactly. Generally, Kaduna State is a strong base for Nigerian military, Nigerian army especially. So things like this shouldn't be happening, And you see the current governor, Malam El Rufai Nasser, who criticized the previous government of Goodluck Jonathan, and he was critical of this government the former government not being able to tackle the security situation. In fact, the current government are in place because they campaigned on tackling the insecurity situation of the country. But today, I beg to say, it's even worse than it used to be. We've never seen kidnapping in this magnitude. We've never. There is ritual killing like people drinking water. That's how common it is. It's so frequent that even teenagers, as young as 13, 14, they are already engaging in ritual killing for the sake of getting money. That's how bad things have become in that country. Despite the economic hardships, everything is just turning upside down. I think it's high time we change course in that country. And that's why I'm talking about the election or the electioneering year coming up in 2023. By May 2023, on the 29th, we should have a new president, basically. 29th of May 2023, we should have a new president, a new set of, political leadership in the country. But this is the time, the right time to begin the electioneering processes, selection, becoming part of the political process, getting your permanent voters card, making a choice or choices of who you want to become your political leaders, people who are tried and tested technocrats, people who are experts in their fields. This is not a time for sentiments or religious ethnicity. All those tribal sentiments. This is not the time for it. If Nigeria must be saved, this is the time to make strides, take steps that will take you out of your comfort zone to where you ought to be. Crossing the aisle to the next, to the other side, because you see potential, real potential. I'm not talking about somebody coming ranting and talking about, I'm talking about people with proven records of integrity, of ability to deliver, people who are even saying the right words, and they back their words up. Those are the kind of people we need right now, because 23 is going to be a defining year for Nigeria in many ways. We can see in the southeast that the IPOB and ESN clamor for nationhood. Even in the west, with the whole case of Sunday Igboho being held, and some part of the west clamoring for cessation, or some calling for a dialogue to talk and discuss about the nation Nigeria, the union called Nigeria, if it's working or not. And we see the North largely resentful of those efforts of trying to want to bring to bear a discourse. Although some also, I think they should also have it. But the large majority of the North are kind of adamant. But they are also suffering. They're bearing the most brunt of the whole issue of terrorism that has, plagued, devastated, and destroyed the northern part of Nigeria for several years now, almost a decade or more. So as a Nigerian citizen that you are, even if you live in the diaspora, it's time to help those back home, to point to candidates that could be credible, would be credible. Credibility is a scarce word these days, but if we must move ahead, we must not settle for this set of mediocres. I've seen a few people coming up, in what they call them now, the PDP, the APC, standing up to say, oh, I want to be this, I want to be president, I want to be that, I want to be governor, with no clear-cut agenda of what they want to do. We've seen a few of them with the antecedents in the past, They think the government or being in government and power is just an avenue for enrichment, to get authority, to dominate other people, to further your cause of nepotism, tribalism, to bolster your religious standing. It's far more than that. Things have got to change. That's what I've been saying for the past while now. Things have got to change. We cannot continue the way we are. Okay? We cannot continue the way we are. But again, it's not just by talking, by ranting, by arguing. The majority of Nigerians are hungry. And as such, because they've been perpetually kept in poverty by the political class, when it comes to the 4-year time for election, people just, they give them maybe 1,500 naira, 12 yards of wrapper, gari, rice, whatever. And They cast their vote for the wrong people. Now, somebody would say, oh, actually, I saw this on Facebook and I reacted. The person said, oh, our votes are not going to count because they already know who's going to win and blah, blah, blah. They're going to rig it anyway. And I told the person, get your PVC regardless. Vote. Vote your conscience. Irrespective of whatever. Go vote your conscience. Make it so much that at the end of the day, they will find it really difficult to take the case to court because the evidence will be stacked against them and they would eventually concede defeat. I mean, it's tough, it's hard to walk against the machinery of incumbency, but you have to do it. You have to do it. We always forget that Nigeria is a member of the global community. We say we practice democracy. Are we truly practicing democracy? Are we truly practicing democracy? A government of the people, by the people, and for the people, a place where people are trampled upon, where justice is denied, delayed, and people die and never find justice. A place where people are locked in ignorance, in darkness, where they are never enlightened deliberately by the political class because they become tools in the hands of politicians to be used and abused. 2023, it has to stop. Nigeria has to rise in the community of nations to its rightful place. Like I said previously, Africa as a continent will not rise until Africa rises. Until Nigeria rises. Nigeria holds the key. Nigeria holds the key to every black man's progress on the face of the earth. And I say this without apology. Nigeria has close to 200 million people. Again, depending on who you ask, from between 150 million to 200. That's the largest concentration of black people in the world. So it's a great market. It's a great market of ideas. It's a great market for innovation, of great leadership potentials. It also has resources as a country. Ghana is doing better than Nigeria presently in terms of security, in terms of growth, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of everything. But they don't have the population. They don't have the size, landmass as Nigeria does. Even in diaspora, you have more Nigerian communities out there than most other countries in the world. And that's because of the population that Nigeria has. Just imagine, for instance, and God forbid, if there's a shake-up, maybe like the Nigeria-Biafra war in the 70s. If such a thing should happen now, it would be so devastating. Because how many countries can actually hold the population that Nigeria has in terms of refugees? How many countries? Most of our neighbors, our closest neighbors, even to 5, 6, 7 countries down, don't even have a population up to 40 million people. So it's going to be very difficult. Whenever you make a decision concerning elections, do not think about yourself alone. Don't think about what you gain right now. Do not think about what you will be given right now. Okay? Do not think about what your benefit will be right now. But think about the next year and the next year, generations. When countries, serious countries, actually make policies, they make policies not for 4 years alone. They could make short-term policies or short-term goals, whatever it is. And then you plan for a 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 years, 100 years, and you plan to say, oh, for instance, in the next 20 years, we'll stop using fossil fuels. In the next 20 years, we would have reduced out of school kids by a whopping 75%. We want to stop teenage girls being married off. in 2030. We want to build our economy to become the largest, real largest in Africa in terms of GDP, in terms of growth, in terms of real happiness indexes, not just in size or volume of trade, but real economics that impact the life of the people. So when you make your political decisions or your electioneering decisions to choose someone from the beginning, a councillor, a local government chairman, a House of Assembly member, a governor, a senator, a House of Reps member, to the president, you should make a conscious choice. Make a real conscious choice. Bring up all that you need, all the yardsticks. This is what I want. Can this person deliver? I want security. Can this person deliver? I want economic freedom. Can this person deliver? I want job growth. Can this person deliver? Has he had the antecedents in the past? What were his antecedents? What can he do? What did he do in the past? Can my children live in this country and have good education? Am I safe traveling to my village? Are there places where I can go relax for tourism in the country and not have the fear of being kidnapped? What is infrastructure? Social infrastructure. What is the educational system going to be? Healthcare, jobs, wage increase. What is the sustainability of our societies, our culture? Will I be persecuted based on my religion if I live as a minority in another community? Those are things we should be asking ourselves. What is the place of science and technology in my country going forward? These are very key issues, and I think as a matter of urgency, the Electoral Acts, many aspects of it needs to be changed. We can't be electing illiterates. Sorry to say, but that's the truth. We can't be electing people who cannot make real decisions for the country. Rather, they make decisions for themselves and their stomach and their families. How would we keep on fighting, striving, trying to make ends meet and never amounting to anything? Children will go to school. I mean, just look at the Academic Staff Union of Universities in Nigeria on strike. How many countries do you see lecturers going on strike? How many? For lengthy periods. I remember when I was back in school, for 3-6 months, you see lecturers on strike. You see doctors months on strike because of wages cannot be met. Come on. 2023 has to change. How many countries in the world, hear me, have refineries and they do not have crude? Very few. In fact, the majority of countries having refineries have crude reserves. But Nigeria has vast proven reserves, like I tell you. Yet, not one refinery is working. I'm talking about working. I'm not talking about patch and go. To the point it's now leading people to doing bunkering and artisanal refining, putting people's lives at risk due to soot in the southern part of Nigeria, where you can see that it's impacting their health. I'm talking to you as a father, as a mother, as a brother, a sister, a cousin, nephew, niece, whoever, grandpa, grandma, whatever you are. Don't think about 2023 as me, myself, and I. But think about it Ubuntu style. We're a community. We are one. Whatever decision I make impacts my brother, impacts my sister, impacts my community, my neighborhood, my state, my nation. Okay? We cannot, a country of over or about 200 million people cannot still boast of 10,000 megawatts of electricity. How do you grow as a country with all these challenges? It's not rocket science. I'm an electrical engineer. To generate electricity, to transmit, distribute, it's not rocket science. It's already there. It's out there. Create the enabling environment and let investors come in. Open the space, the market space. Let people come in. Nigeria is strategically located geographically to the point that we have the potential to generate electricity from almost every source. From wind in the north, from solar, from ocean currents in the south. We're talking about vast amounts of gas. What are we talking about? Hydroelectric. Huh? How many dams can we build? Even if it's smaller dams. And then I think it's high time we abolish the national grid. The national grid. It's like GRID, but it's like GREED. Because it only feeds certain people. It doesn't feed the whole nation equally. Okay? Okay? I don't intend for this video to be too long. I like it as it is, always. Please go to the comment section and let us know about your opinion, what you want to do in this coming electioneering year. If you want to tell us who you might be voting for, why you should be voting or you think you should be voting, and why people should come along with you, let us know. If you want to maintain status quo, let us know. Whatever your opinion is, leave it free in the description box. Keep it respectful. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification button so that when there is new videos coming up, you can be the first to know. So thank you very much for listening to Pleasant Creeks. We'll reach you, be coming back to you some other time soon. Thank you. Bye.